Final Fantasy VII is a very horny game. It really wants to fuck. It's got its dick out, and it is wanting to know whose mouth wants to get on it, because it is, like, very fucking horny. This game... So, okay. I was at the Golden Saucer, and there is a mini game to get the little Moogle, to get him laid. You got to get him laid so that you beat the little mini game. And it's in the little arcade in the saucer. So what it happens is there's a little Moogle, and he's like, oh, this little Moogle wants a mate. And he's like, but he needs to be able to impress the girl. So he's like, help him out by throwing him these seeds, these like little seeds. So like what happens is the game is you got to throw him enough seeds. And like if you throw him however many, and like he'll go like this. He'll rub his belly and be like, I'm hungry. So then you keep feeding him. When he's good, he'll do like a thumbs up thing. But if you keep feeding him after that, he gets too fat. And so he can't fly. So you can't feed him too little. You can't feed him too much. You got to feed him just enough, and then he'll fly. So then, okay, he flies. Cool. So then this little pink Moogle comes up, and it's like, oh, help him impress this Moogle. So then you throw him seeds, and then he flies around, and she's like, oh, yeah, she jumps up and down, whatever. Then they proceed to go into a treehouse, and the screen goes black. And then when it comes back up, the Moguls come out, and they're like, yay, you got him a mate. And they run off, and 20 little baby Moguls come running out of the house afterwards. 20 of them. Yep, it was like a lot of them. I maybe 20. It might have been 10 to 15, but it was more than 10 for sure. Like, it's a lot of little babies. So I got a Mogul laid. That's what I did in the minigame.
Like I said before, like it's been so long for me that I do not. There's so much about that game I don't remember.
There's also the Don. What I forget his name. He's there's the whole sequence where Tifa finds out somebody has information for Shinra. So she dresses up basically in like a little dress and everything, you know, right, to go seduce the guy. So she's going off to do that. And because he's looking, I don't remember if he's trying to get a bride or if he's just sampling the women. Because I want to say, I'm pretty certain they make a comment that, oh, all the new girls who come to the club, they go meet him first. Implying that he samples all the girls before they go to the club and work it. So you go there with Cloud and Aerith.
What?
Yes. This is all part of it. You don't remember? I'm hoping this is in the game.
It's starting to get realistic.
Well, yes, but it's glitzed up to where, like, as young little me, I didn't really catch on to some of this stuff. As older me, I'm like, oh yeah, he's a pimp trying out the hose before he puts them out on the shelf. Like, that's what's going on here. But because, like, you actually go down into a sex dungeon. I'm sure it's a sex dungeon because. So that's
I seen this. It was on HBO. I think it's called Cat House.
There you go.
You said the guy's name was Dennis, right?
No, it's Don something. Don something.
Did you see the randomly, because this made me think of this. Did you see the robot orgy in Nier Automata?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I haven't played through Nier Automata.
It's awesome.
I know.
It's like five different genres.
It's on my list to play. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Well, yeah, there's a robot orgy in a cave that you go to at one point.
That's amazing.
It's so weird.
Yeah, this is Final Fantasy VII. Now, there's nothing as graphic as that. It's more everything's implied. There's nothing right out there sexual.
Now, these are robots humping each other and putting their faces in each other's crotches.
But what is the game rated? M, right?
I don't know if it's even
E for everyone.
E for everyone. Yeah, well, robot fucking is for everyone. So
I want to say it's T for T. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, but
robot sex doesn't count yet.
It sure doesn't.
They don't have genitals.
It's true. There's no titties to see, so it's all teen. T or E, right? But so
T and A. That's the phrase you're looking for.
So Tifa goes in there, so you got to get in there. But when you try to go into the mansion where the Don is, they're like, "Oh, you're not a girl. You can't come in here. Only girls go in here." Instead of Cloud being able to fuck everybody up and just go in there like you just did in the Shinra building, apparently he can't do that here. He has to dress up like a girl so he can get in, and he's got to pretend to be a girl. So this is the cross-dressing scene that, like, a lot of people have been asking, are they going to do this in the remake?
So does he get sampled?
Yes, kind of. Not exactly.
Because this is giving me major, like, the stick of truth.
Well, he does get gangbanged by a bunch of dudes.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. So Cloud. All right. I'm surprised you don't remember any of this,
dude. No.
So okay.
What
so
year did this game come out?
97. Okay. We've talked about this, Patrick. So
I know. We did the script and everything.
We did the script and everything of like the fuck room. There's the fuck room, and then there's like the lovers room, and there's all these different rooms because it literally says and it has a bunch of like of those symbols room.
What?
So it's the fuck room. I'm sure it's the fuck room. There's no other place for it. And when you go in the fuck room,
you're blowing my mind. Right now.
Okay. All right. Good. You're gonna go down rabbit hole with me.
You should have seen what they made Cloud blow.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he does. I think he probably does blow a dude because he's in the room. There's a dude that pops up on him, and then like 10 other dudes come in the room, and they start like crowding up on Cloud. And Cloud's like, "Hey, well, what's going on?" And he gets in a tub. And all the dudes get in the tub with Cloud.
Why did he?
And then the camera kind of goes up, and Cloud kind of just wakes up. It's like, I don't know what happened. So
you know what happened.
Yeah, you know exactly what happened. Yep. Yeah, man. That's exactly what happened. It's true.
I'm pretty sure this game is T for teen.
Yeah, it is T for teen.
It was a game rated.
It's T for teen. It's T. But like, see, the way I'm describing it is much more cruder than how it really shows because the camera pans up. They don't really show stuff, and they don't explicitly say, "I'm going to fuck you." Like they don't say those things.
Are any of his like belongings missing? Was it a robbery?
No, but I think if you do it, you get a wig, and you need that to look better. If I remember right, you got to go to the room. And you get because you do all these different like mini games to get all the clothes for Cloud to look like a woman. The better clothes and stuff you get, the Don is going to choose you when he has to pick out a Tifa, Ares, and you.
I think that there will be a cross-dressing scene.
Oh yeah,
I want to
say
they said it was in the game.
Oh, did they?
I believe they said it.
Yeah,
I just think so. Oh no, they did it in Breath of the Wild.
They didn't just say it; they showed it in the trailer.
Okay, so
they showed the guy in Cloud like kind of looking like a girl in one of the trailers. They're definitely doing the scene of like him cross-dressing.
I mean, the original Sephiroth looks like a beautiful woman anyway, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's true. But
yeah, remember to get into Gerudo in Breath of the Wild, you have to dress like a woman.
Yes.
So they're gonna play around with Cloud cross-dressing because what ends up happening too is once you get all the clothes for Cloud. You go into the room, and then like he's the Don is on the bed, on like a big massive bed in like a tiny room, and you, Tifa, and Ares are lined up, and he's like kind of checks y'all all out, and if you got all the good gear, he's gonna pick Cloud, but once he picks whoever, they basically like take all the clothes off. And like all the dress up, and he just looks normal. Like they're not naked. He just, he gets to like his regular gear, right. And then he's like, "Oh, you're a man! Whoa!" Like kind of surprised.
I'll pay double now.
Yeah, well, it could be it, and he's like, "Oh my God, you tricked me!" Blah 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 blah. And they're like, "Look, we're here for information. You need to give it to me, or I'll slice it off." And then like Tifa's like, "Yeah, you need to give us this information. If you don't, I'll punch it off." And then like, or no, I think she said she'll rip it off. And then like Ares is like, "Yeah, if you don't give us this information, I'll do whatever." Basically, cut it off, rip it off. One other variation of taking his dick off.
She'll beat it off.
Yeah, maybe so. Beat it off. He's like, "All right, I'll go with you. Beat it off. That's good." So then he spills whatever information he has about Shinra, and then that progresses the plot forward. So now the last sexual thing that I've discovered
so far
is a bestiality rape that's implied in Final Fantasy VII. So you don't remember this.
This isn't the game I remember at all.
So there's a part where Hugo is the mad scientist that works for the Shinra company. And there's a point where Ares gets captured, so you got to go save Ares. Ares, I think it's Ares is the way you pronounce her name. I'm sorry if I'm calling her wrong. It's definitely not Aerith because there's no TH at the end. It's A-R-I-E-S.
I think in some other country they have it with the TH.
They might actually. Yeah. I think you might be right. But anyways, Ares is captured. So you're like, look, we got to save her, like, because she helped save Marlene for Barrett and all that, and he's like, nah, well, I'm down. Like, we're gonna save her. So like, you, Cloud, Barrett, Tifa, they're all like, yeah, let's go save her. So they go. When you finally find her, she's in this like container, like this large, like not necessarily a prison, it's like a glass, like cylinder shaped, like kind of contraption that she's in.
The same thing they kept Loki in Avengers.
Basically. And Red 13 is in there with her. And he's like growling at her, and she's kind of like frightened. Like she kind of jumped back. Of course, they're blocky characters, so you only see much, but you see he's growling at her. And Hugo's explaining that he has them here because she's the last of her race, and Red 13 is the last of his race. So what a great idea to have them mate and make a new baby. So he wants Red 13 to rape Eris. And he's like in a stance growling, looking like he's about to pounce on her and rape her.
Isn't he like a lion demon monster?
He's like a lion, cat, creature, whatever the fuck he is. He's just a red dog, whatever.
Do you think with HD graphics we can see his crayon out?
Well, maybe. We might be able to see the donger that's hanging there. But actually, it has been announced this remake, he's not going to be a playable character for this game. Because this is only one in a series of games that's supposed to come out for Final Fantasy VII. So, anyways,
which I thought it was just supposed to be just Midgar, but they said that there's a little bit after.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that in just a second. So Red 13 looks like he's about to pounce, possibly rape her. Now you come in, you stop it, and then when you free them out, he's like, "Hey guys, sorry about that, Eris. I was just like playing along." Until I don't know what you were expecting, because he clearly could not have known that Cloud and them were coming to save the day. But he's like, yeah, I was just playing along to, whatever. Sorry about that. And you're like, oh, it's cool. You want to be part of the party? Yeah, that's cool. So then he joins the team. So, you don't remember that either. Yeah.
Is that how he joins? Good Lord.
Yeah, that's how he joins. He joins in that moment. So, which is weird that he's not going to be a playable character in this game for the remake.
Maybe that's where it ends.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
He joins the team and it's like, to be continued.
Or maybe he'll never join the team because he actually wanted to rape Eris, and they're just like, you can't join this team. No, you can't join this team.
You wasn't playing. I seen your crayon.
Yeah, I seen your crayon, and it was hard. And then you get out. But anyway, so that's some of the sexual innuendo. Now, some of the interesting things I think about it is like, I really think I see why, first of all, Sephiroth is probably one of the best Final Fantasy villains of all time. And like why this is probably one of the best Final Fantasy games, I'd say, out of all of them. That I've played. All right. And I played part of 6. I haven't finished it.
6 is supposed to be really good.
Yeah, everybody says 6 is good. I've played about half of it. I do need to go back and finish it.
I like 8 and 9. Honestly.
It is good. 8 is good. The story is very jumbled, and that junction system is kind of garbage. But the game itself...
Again, I haven't played that one in a while.
8 is my personal favorite because it's my first introduction to the Final Fantasy series. But objectively, I can say it's not a good game in comparison to the other Final Fantasy games. 9 is way better. The only thing I'd say is that like they really work to build up Sephiroth as a bad guy. And you do it in a multitude of ways. Everybody is like, you don't even see Sephiroth for like a good bit of the game. You just hear
awesome
people.
Ass reveal.
Yeah, you just hear people talking about how terrible Sephiroth. Oh my God, Sephiroth, this and that. Like, he's such a great soldier or this and that. But then it's like, whatever.
Dick riding for like the first
disc.
disc.
Well, yeah. So like, what happens? Not even the first disc. In the first couple of hours, actually, after you get out of Midgar, you just go like loop over to a town. And basically, Cloud's like, all right, this is everything I know about Sephiroth and all this. And he just sits down and tells you a story. So, like, see, that I think is going to be in this game, but it's going to happen in Midgard. Because it doesn't even make sense to just loop over to a town, like a couple blocks down, just to tell a story. And then you go out and you head over way across to some other area, and you're like on the hunt for Sephiroth.
Because I have read that he appears way earlier. In this one than he does in the original.
He might. I'm curious to see when he does pop up, because he pops up. The first time you really see Sephiroth is like in a dream, not a dream, but when Cloud is telling you about this. And this is what's interesting that I liked about it. You play as Sephiroth in the game. In the original, you play as him.
Oh,
okay?
yeah, I remember that.
I'm hoping that they let you play with him in here. Because what it does, it really sets up for you how badass Sephiroth is. When you're playing, you're seeing his options. And like, I say you play, but you're in the party with him. But he just like, he's doing like Ice 3 and he's slashing people. Like, you see Cloud hit and he'll do like 30 damage. And Sephiroth comes like 9,000 damage. And so you're just like, holy shit. Like, you actually get to see in like gameplay, like, this is a bad motherfucker. Like, you get to see it playing as the villain. And then afterwards, you really see
I wonder if that's the first, because other games have done that since. I wonder if that's the first one that did that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious to see. Chrono Cross did something like that, where
like
they actually put you into the villain. Like, you switch bodies with the villain in Chrono Cross, and you play as the villain for a good portion of the game, and then you switch back out to the hero. And when you play as the villain in Chrono Cross, your magic goes from light to dark. So now you have dark magic instead of light magic. So now you are stronger against other enemies and weaker against others. So it changes a bit. Nothing too drastic, but it does change a bit of like how you play. So Chrono Cross does something like that, but on a bigger scale. You have more time to play as I forget what the cat character's name is in Chrono Cross, but Final Fantasy VII, yeah, like you get to like play a little snippet of Sephiroth, and Sephiroth has an arc that's I compared it. It just came to mind. It's not a complete comparison, but it kind of reminds me of Killmonger in Black Panther, because he makes these statements about how Shinra and the organization and the man there, he's killed all his people. He's used his people to help make like other people better and things like that. And he's like, I'm not standing for this. I'm going to take down everybody who's part of this shit, and then I'm going to destroy the earth, and I'm going to the promised land that's supposed to be. So there's almost a whole kind of like racial aspect to it, not in the sense of the color of his skin, but in the sense that he's like part of this alien, part of this kind of ancient,
kind of like the like how Khan was in the Star Trek remake.
And his whole thing is to find Meteor, a weapon, just kind of like, it's almost like too, like how in Killmonger, his whole thing with Black Panther in the movie was to get Wakandan weapons and give them to black people to revolt. Like Sephiroth is basically finding the ultimate weapon for him. He's the last of his species to revolt against the earth and to destroy it. So it's interesting in that. And
I'm gonna have to play through 7 again, because this is talking about Sephiroth. The rest of the shit made me terrified to play again.
It's silly stuff. The other stuff is very silly stuff, and it's not as in your face as what I'm really breaking it down.
Right, I very much believe.
Yeah, I'm breaking it down, but I already showed you the video.
Right.
So it's shared enough.
I would say you're not changing it that much from.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. Even the mogul thing, it's exactly that. Now, it's an arcade game that you can play. Like, you can play through the game and not play that.
Right.
You'll not see that mogul game. But if you play the mogul game, you get him some pussy. And I mean, like, do you really want to look at a mogul and know that you couldn't get him laid? Like, just give him some seeds and he can fuck and have like 20 kids and he's happy and she's happy too. You know? Exactly. But no, just playing through it, like, it's very interesting. Sephiroth is a lot more interesting of a villain than I think I've seen in a lot of Final Fantasy. Like Final Fantasy VIII, again, my memory's shady on that. But if I remember right, it's like a wizard from the future that's just possessing different characters, and it's very convoluted and weird.
Yeah.
It's not as like streamlined, and like the buildup is not there that I remember that like 7 really has here of building up Sephiroth. And I heard another podcast, guys I listen to, nerds, shout out to those guys, but they were trying to remember 7, and they were like, they said Cloud is a stoic, silent type character, if I remember correctly what they said, and like it's actually not true. Cloud talks a lot, and like he can, and depending on what options you choose, I mean, he could be like a flirty little twat if you want him to be, because like you go up to Tifa and he'd be like, "Where'd you get those flowers for?" And you can be like, "I got them for you." You know, or you can say, "I got them for, not for you, somebody else," or whatever like that. But he's very talkative. And like I think I've even heard some people react to Cloud talking. They're like, I don't remember Cloud like this. Like, no, Cloud was exactly like that. That's actually some of that dialogue is exactly from the original game.
Again, to reiterate, Patrick, Link is better.
Yeah. Link doesn't speak. He shuts the fuck up and lets Zelda do the talking. Yep,
He just grunts when he rolls.
Yep. Either that or Navi talks a lot. Hey, listen.
You know what? Out of all the Zelda games, I think Midna is the best fairy companion. I don't know if you would agree. I think Midna wins.
Probably. Definitely not Navi.
Yeah, Navi's annoying as
Yeah,
fuck.
she's a little bitch.
She always tells you the same thing over and over.
Hey,
She does.
Listen.
Hey. Oh God, I would like to know. I've got a feeling it's more than one of actual people that might have committed suicide behind Navi. And if there's a real number, I want to know. I do. I would like to know. Like somebody was just like, maybe they were on the edge and they were like, I'm gonna play Legend of Zelda because it's such a good game. And then all it was, hey, listen, and the gun's right there, and they're just like, it's just not worth being here anymore. And then Navi kill.
Hilarious.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it is horrible. But nah, like Final Fantasy VII has been good. I've been enjoying going back and playing it. I've gotten to like the Golden Saucer area where I'm getting Barrett's backstory of how he tried to negotiate a deal, it sounds like, with some of the people there with Shinra. And Shinra abused his town and everything like that. And Barrett's kind of ashamed to go back to that area. And that's why he has such a grudge. And he started Avalanche and he's fighting against Shinra because they're just a terrible company and they're taking Mako from the planet. And it's, it's going to kill the planet. So then again, Final Fantasy VII has this like pollution. You're doing things to hurt the earth and the environment, and it's going to bring about the end of the world, kind of reminiscent of global warming and the things we're dealing with and all that stuff. So, like, Final Fantasy VII really has a lot of things to say that are pretty powerful, that relate more to, like, us than I think a lot of other Final Fantasy games really do. And maybe I'm wrong because I don't remember fully a lot of the other Final Fantasy games.
There's a little bit of the industrial, like, complaints in 9.
Yeah, there is. There's a bit of that because you get the main city, I think Alexandria, who kind of runs things and is kind of a tyrannical to a degree.
Right, and they talk about the mist powered stuff and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I vaguely remember some of that. There's a bit of that in 6 as well, where you have this Imperial army, and I think it's run by the main villain. I can't think of his name. He basically looks like a clown.
Klefka?
Yeah, Kefka or something like that. And but he's like a caricature of a supervillain, where he's just super evil and crazy. Where like Sephiroth has more layers to him. He's an interesting villain. I think that's where Sephiroth really shines. And some people, and I felt like this too for a bit. 7 gets all the hype. 7's a little overblown as being that good. But like going back and playing it, I'm like, oh, I kind of see why.
And also, like,
I see why people say
at the time, 7's graphics were crazy.
Yeah, at the time.
They look silly now, but like they were like mind blowing.
The cutscenes and everything for sure. Like they did some stuff. Like when Cloud gets on that motorbike and runs through the building and comes out, and that shit there was like, I remember seeing that, playing it when I was young, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this shit's amazing.
Yeah, so it was pretty dope. So, but yeah, it doesn't really hold up as much now. But hey, the new game looks fucking amazing.
I see that they redesigned Tifa.
Yeah, they should. She's a fighter. She shouldn't have big ass jugs on her chest.
They gave her the big tits back.
Really?
And the weird waist.
Well, you know what? I heard this. If I remember right, some of the earlier shots, she was wearing something that they were kind of like compressed. I don't think they really redesigned her. Maybe I'm wrong, because I don't remember hearing that. So I'm curious. I want to look into that.
From the original reveal of her, a lot of people bitched online about her tits not being big enough.
I really hope that she had the smaller tits because I think it fits better with her actual build.
It works in Tomb Raider.
It fits better in her actual build and frame. Like she's a fighter. So if you're somebody who's like working out or exercising and you're in like good shape like that, like a fighter, I would suspect, like, because for women,
and she's pretty slender otherwise.
Yeah, it's like you would typically have not such a big chest, like a comically enormous chest that it is in the game. The blocky chest is just like huge,
like the Lara Croft triangles.
Yeah. So I was kind of hoping it stayed like a more realistic design,
right?
But whatever, it is what it is. People need they fucking titties.
I mean, they
anime
did it with,
titties.
they did it to Lightning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Japanese,
right?
They do what they do.
They like tits a bunch, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone likes tits.
They're great. I mean, I don't want to.
I'm not bitching about tits.
Yeah, I'm not
just
bitching
saying.
about it, but I just liked the shift into a more realistic take on the character. I'm not opposed to having smaller tits. Like, I don't even think it's a big deal.
How do you know she didn't have implants?
It's true. Maybe she gets the implants in the game instead of Cloud getting raped by 15 dudes. Maybe there's
maybe she's off getting the implants while he's getting raped by 15 dudes. She's like, I came back to help.
Maybe she got the
already.
Maybe while you're trying to get all the clothes items to look pretty for the Don, she's getting implants for the Don. So then,
just do this.
if you don't get pretty enough, her tits will take over. And so that could be it.
Who needs fancy clothes? You got jugs like these.
Yep. But I haven't made it to the end of disc 1 yet. Again, Golden Saucer, I'm getting into Barrett's backstory. The end of disc 1, I believe, ends when you find some kind of ancient temple that Ares people were like, they resided in, whatever, I forget exactly what it was, but I know Sephiroth kills her there. So that's kind of where that happened.
I can say that in the remake, Barrett is pretty much exactly the way I imagined him.
Yeah.
In
I think Barrett's pretty dope. I like him.
He's basically Black Randy Savage.
Yeah. Hey, I always like Barrett's dope. I liked Barrett. I like him in here too. Like, he's pretty cool. So I liked one of the things you do. So they don't really do, like, you know how you end the battle and then the song plays like that. Da, 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 da. So they don't really do that. If you notice, I beat some enemies a little bit when you watching the gameplay, and they don't really do like ending song after each battle because you clip through it.
Right.
But I was playing with Barrett, and you interchange between Barrett and Cloud.
Right. The combat system looks amazing.
It is. And after you beat them, one of the times Barrett goes da 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 da, like in his voice, and I was like, that's fucking awesome. I like that. Barrett does the ending like victory song. He just sings it himself. I was like, that's cool. I like that. That's a nice touch. So it's.
Can we do some speculation now?
Yeah, sure, man. So I'm thinking that a lot of some of these other areas and things that happen are all going to get Collins, because they're really following the game, at least from this demo. It is very much the beginning of the original game. Very close.
Right.
I do think it's going to be expanded on. I don't know if we'll get to Eris's death, though. And the reason why I don't think so is because, like, Red 13 is not going to be a character. So if they're going to, like, take a character off the board, I wonder if they'll keep her on longer.
I don't think she dies.
You don't think she's going to die?
Because I think...
That would be interesting.
I think that part of what made it amazing back in the day was, like, a main character dying. Like, the shock value of that.
Yeah.
Put that game... Like, it was always a great game, but that moment put that game into legend. And, like, I think that they're going to go with something else. Like, either you're going to be able to save her, or, like, Tifa's going to die, or something like... I think something crazy is going to happen.
If they kill Tifa, the internet will revolt.
Oh, for sure. But I think that's a good thing, though.
That will not be acceptable.
It would be so dope if it was just like, oh, well, we're going with a different story.
See,
because they're already, like, building up Sephiroth versus Cloud more.
This would actually be dope, but I don't think they would be able to do it. The choices you make determine if Tifa or Ares dies. So then, but they would have to make the second game,
right?
Know your memory of what you played in the first one.
They've done it. Telltale did it all the time.
Yeah, see, I think they could, but I don't know if they can build out two versions of the game.
Because one of them is going to be on PS4 and the next one's going to be on PS6. So
yeah, but but I mean, like, yeah, but that's not even the issue. The stuff we have will be able to handle something
Mass
like
Effect
that.
did some of
but
that.
Will the team actually work to build out something like that. That's the other thing. But I mean, that would be pretty dope. That because there is a line in this classic where you're like, that
would take a lot of writing work.
But there's already writing in the classic that's like, do you date Eris or do you date Tifa? Like, you kind of, like, do you flirt more with Eris or do you flirt more with Tifa?
There's also a bunch of weird shit that they found from the original game that it looks like they took. Like, Eris wasn't supposed to die originally. Like, at the back cover shows her looking at, I forgot the name of the ship. But she's looked like she's dead by the time that part comes around in the game. But, like, in the actual image on the back of the game, she's, like, looking up at the airship.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember the name of that fucking ship.
It's Millennium Falcon.
Yep, we'll go with that. That works. I think it's just an airship, but I don't know.
Aluminum Falcon.
I know Sid. Sid's the guy
Sid,
who operates
that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Vincent.
Yeah. I didn't get to Vincent yet, but I'm going to. I want Vincent too. I have a gun actually already for him. I found a gun real early, and I'm like, "Where the fuck are you at, man? I'm trying to get on my team." So, but I like that. I think it would be ballsy, but if they actually let you choose, like, or not even necessarily let you choose, but based on your options and what you choose, it ends up being Tifa or Eris dying, I think that would be dope.
That would be crazy.
And then if they allow you, like, okay, you got to keep your save because when the next game comes out, we're gonna play off of.
Right.
Or if you're new and you're just playing the second one,
Mass Effect does that.
If you're playing the second one like a crazy person without playing the first, then they just either start you with Tifa or Ares. Like you just start.
What
with
Mass Effect does is when you start it, they give you like a kind of like a rundown and let you make the decisions in a little quiz. Like even like one of the main characters in the first one, Rex, he can die in the first game, but at the same time, you can't play him anyway in the second game. He's just kind of hanging out in a place in the second game. Yeah. But like, it's doable. It would. I mean, shit. They've taken long enough to develop the fucking game. They could have written Divergence, and it would raise the replay value up so much.
Yeah, they can do it. I hope
Well,
they.
I think they're going to drastically overhaul.
If they do it, much respect.
Right.
Because I actually like that. If they kill Cloud, Tifa or Eris, it really depends on what.
Fuck, I'd be amazed if they killed Barrett. And you know he's the only black guy, so I'm not a big fan.
Well,
of that
actually,
idea.
you know, it's
Wait,
funny.
this is a horror game?
Yeah.
I didn't know this is in the horror genre.
All right. So what are we saying here is our perfect top 10 games?
So I found my actual top 10 single player games that I wrote in 2017.
Oh wow! All right, cool.
It may be different, but I'll say, and these aren't. I'm not necessarily saying all these are perfect 10s, but this was just number 10 was BioShock Infinite. I don't know if I still feel that way. Number 9 was Blood Omen Legacy of Kain.
That's pretty strong. BioShock Infinite's pretty strong. Respect that choice.
It's honestly my favorite BioShock.
That ending just blew everybody away.
Right.
That shit where you're just going through all the different
right.
like dimensions or
It
like
definitely ends
time.
better than BioShock 1.
Yeah.
I mean, the twist is good in BioShock 1. But
Yeah.
Number 9 is Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, the first one. Number 8 is Quest for Glory 5, Dragonfire.
And you would say these are games you like, but these are also games that you would say are perfect?
No. Okay. I wouldn't say they're perfect, but these are just games that like really influenced me as a gamer.
Okay, go ahead.
Star Wars Shadow of the Empire for 64. That game's so awesome.
It was awesome.
Metal Gear Solid, Arkham City, The Last of Us, Symphony of the Night is number 3. Number 2 is Breath of the Wild, and number 1 is Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of War. Okay. Out of those, I think The Last of Us, and when I say perfect 10, I'm judging it from the time it came out. I mean, it does. Most of them still.
You
will
can
hold
kind
up
of
pretty
judge it
well.
anyway. Like my basic judgment is typically like if it has certain if it has boss battles, that's a big thing for me.
Right.
If it's difficult or challenging, or it can be based on that, that's a part of it for me. So my scale of a perfect 10 is going to be different from yours.
Right.
So it's really going to be personal opinion. But I'm hoping you could be just a little more objective. As like, even though I like this game,
Right.
I wouldn't say it's like perfect.
Out of all of these, I would say, I think Breath of the Wild is a 10.
Okay.
Maybe even an 11.
So you're on board for a 10 on Breath of the Wild.
Yes, Breath of the Wild is amazing.
And Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I believe that's a 10.
I actually have
Bloodstained,
not
that's a game
played
I
a
played
lot of
last
Castlevania. That's actually something I'm planning on doing this year. This year, I'm going to be playing through a couple Castlevania games.
Symphony of the Night
That's a big one on my list.
I'm
gonna
cannot
stream.
think of a single flaw. It's the ultimate Metroidvania game. Like, the art style is stylized enough to where it doesn't look bad later. The boss fights are awesome.
Just came out to iOS.
Did it?
And Android. Yep, you can have it on your phone for I think $1.99, $2.99. You can buy it.
What's that? Give me a minute. Y'all keep going. I'm gonna
It's out on your phone. You can play Symphony of the Night, and you can sync a controller up to your phone too, and so you can play with the controller.
I actually have a controller.
There you go. Well. There you go. Yep. All right. What would you say is like a perfect? Like he's got Symphony of the Night, Breath of the Wild. I know that's something you choose as well.
Breath of the Wild.
What are some perfect games you feel like perfect?
Breath of the Wild.
What's the perfect Mario? Like the best? You think the best Mario?
Ooh, that's really hard.
I know it is. I'm gonna say for me, I think Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah.
I think it's the perfect one.
Mario Brothers 3 and Mario 64 are like.
Mario World was really good too. Super Mario World.
And Mario 64 it fucking changed everything. About
Nintendo basically
gaming
taught
period.
people how to do 3D.
Yeah.
Wait, y'all doing it all wrong.
But they still can't figure out the internet.
Yeah.
They don't care about the internet.
I feel like I could say Tetris.
Okay.
Or like
The original Tetris.
Original or 99,
Yeah.
honestly.
No, fuck 99.
Yeah.
Second place.
Yeah. Second place loser.
But original Tetris, it's like you can pop that game in now, and it won't be any different from playing it 30 years ago.
I mean, I used to go by my friend's house and we'd play like a whole season of Tecmo Bowl in the night. And like if somebody would fall asleep, bam, we're playing Tetris. It's like totally different game. It's like, all right, who could get the highest score in Tetris? It was me.
It was you. It's always you. You know
Not
what?
really. My older sister.
Let me do something for you, mister.
Is probably. Am I not talking to the mic right?
Yeah, but I think what I can do for you.
Actually, I'm just now noticing Patrick's wearing a Hyrule Kingdom t-shirt.
Did you like to turn your head and talk?
Oh yeah.
Do you sound better already?
I guess.
Yeah, a little bit.
I might help you.
This way I could look into your eyes better.
That's right. So you can see me and you can talk into the fucking microphone.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's cool, man. I just thought about it, like the way you keep turning your head. I was like, well, let me see if I turn the mic. That might help you.
Well, what was I saying?
You were saying best video games of all time. You said it was Breath
of the Wild.
10.
Breath of the Wild. No, wait.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild. Tetris.
Oh yeah, you were talking about Tetris.
When I played World of Warcraft. Oh my god, that was so good.
What about what would you say is the perfect Grand Theft Auto game?
Vice City. Oh my
Vice
god,
City?
it's so easy. That's the easiest.
I'm not familiar enough with the.
Yeah, me neither. I don't really play. That's why
So-
I'm asking you, because Grand Theft Auto is one of the biggest gaming franchises.
I'm not gonna pretend like I played through all of them.
Yeah.
But I felt like Grand Theft Auto 3 was great. Then Vice City came, and Vice City was like perfect. The music, the era it's in, the missions, like the whole 80s theme.
Oh yeah, he
Was-
still listens to music on the radio. He's like, oh, it's in Vice City.
Right. It's all spot on.
I might argue Bully is the best Grand Theft Auto game.
But then you went to San Andreas, and it's like you could do too much. It's like, why do I have to go to a barbershop to cut my character's hair? Like, I don't give a fuck about his hair. It's, you know, they added more and more you can do,
Yeah.
but I felt like that just takes the game element out of it to where it's just, you might not even play the game portion of it.
That's exactly how I feel about Skyrim.
Yeah.
It's just they put too much. Even Red Dead 2 is just like, I don't need to see that my horse's balls shrink in the cold. That's
I mean,
It's
maybe
so
you might
much,
need to
man.
see it. but- what would you say is perfect fighting game? For me, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate. I think it's
I feel like
probably one of those.
you
dude,
guys,
that's such a commitment. Hold on.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm just asking, at least one of the most well-balanced did you find? For me, I felt Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate. I felt like the reason why I say it's perfect because they had such a unique roster of characters
y'all
that
should see the
allowed.
struggle on his face right now.
It is. It's
Like,
deep.
He's
It's
the
deep.
deepest
But see,
look
I'm
ever.
going to tell you this. People still play Marvel vs. Capcom 3 over at EVO and stuff like that.
They still play 2.
True. I mean, hell, even this
2
still
is
play.
shitty. Like, not shitty as a game, but like balance-wise, it's horrible.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's like 6 characters everyone plays with
Yeah, but
out of 58.
But 3, I feel like 3. On a professional level, yeah, you got your Dooms and all that, but like, you know what was interesting
3
is
is beautiful.
you had things like Phoenix, such a fucking interesting character to put in that game that was so weak. But if you strategized and built up
Destroy
5
them.
bars,
That's
you
how
would,
fucking Filipino champ kept winning.
yeah, but there's ways to beat that though. Like
Right.
it's not unbalanced. If you can snap her in front and take her out, use everything you can to take her out, she dies quick. One touch. You touch her one time, she's dead. She can't survive a combo.
Dude, I remember like when that game came out and I was like, I want to play this for real because we had just finished playing Super Street Fighter 4 so much. That might be my answer, but give me a second. But
Super Street Fighter 4, I can respect it. I definitely put some time up there.
I would say pre-arcade edition, I really loved Super Street Fighter 4. I actually don't like Street Fighter 5 at all.
I hear a lot of people point to the Alpha series, Alpha 3, as one of the better Street Fighter games.
I even like the Alpha 3, and I'm
Alpha 3's
horrible
pretty
at Street
good.
Fighter.
Yeah, I never really played a lot of the Street Fighter like Alpha series and stuff. I played Street Fighter 2 a good bit, and I played Street Fighter 4 a lot. There's a missing portion there that I didn't play
I
of the
think
Alpha series. And 3.
Third Strike's really good.
That's what
It's
I hear.
another one that's not super well balanced, but it's just really fucking fun.
I'm gonna go with the ultimate American answer. Say Mortal Kombat 2.
There you go. American.
That game doesn't hold up at all.
No.
though.
Well, Mortal Kombat 2 is amazing.
Oh.
It's the only
See,
game I can go in an arcade and actually come back with home.
Mortal
money.
Kombat. Mortal Kombat 11 is probably the best Mortal Kombat they've ever made.
Really?
Mortal Kombat.
It's like the only one I haven't played.
It's probably one of the best ones they've ever made as far as just the way
They
they've
got fucked so hard on so many things.
But you
though.
know what though? They finally balanced it to where every move is useful. Because like in the newer editions of Mortal Kombat where they introduce X-rays, nobody used them.
Do y'all know Mortal Kombat 11 is like the third best-selling fighting game of all time?
Yeah.
It's definitely the best Mortal
Behind
Kombat.
the
Yeah.
two Smash
The
Brothers
thing that's
games.
crazy is like, of
Yeah.
course. But the thing that's crazy is that nobody could put it on YouTube because they couldn't get advertisements for it. They got everybody that put it up got demonetized because of the violence.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing? And they kicked it from Evo
Yeah, they did kick it
because
from
it's
them.
on ESPN2 now, so they can't have the violence on Evo.
That's fucking shitty.
That's
man.
so fucking like that's the one time.
Can't we
because-
just release the Super Nintendo version? And
That would
everybody
take
gets
so
the
much
gray
fucking
gray
work.
sweat spills.
Yeah, well, I don't know why.
Isn't there's a way to turn the blood off in the game, right?
Yeah, in the
Probably.
old games.
in the old
No, I
games,
think in the
definitely.
new one
games.
too. I think you can actually turn the blood
I
off.
don't know,
still.
like that.
It might be something
I
stupid
can't-
you got to buy in the crypt or some shit.
Yeah, maybe, but like I
you
don't
gotta put
see
in 100
why.
hours to make it non-violent.
I don't see why Mortal Kombat wouldn't just release an update, even an update only for like tournament stuff like
Call
that.
it the tournament edition.
Where the
Right.
tournament edition, where they cut out all the super violence and shit like that, and they just make it something that could be played. I don't think it would
Well,
be that hard.
You probably can't turn off the X-ray moves and stuff like that.
Honestly, that's all you'd have to do though. Is like, yeah, it would be weird, but all you would do is just skip the X-ray.
Does Cassie Cage still make people's balls explode?
Just skip the X-ray, yeah. But like, just skip. Well, when you do an X-ray move, when you do it, just do like a shorter, like just a quick animation of just something basic.
Or just put the skin back on?
Because everybody's gonna know it's the tournament mode. Everybody will be cool with it as long as it's just something you don't force down to the main people playing, like everybody. And you just
Fatalities
do
are
it.
showstoppers, though.
I know, but you just don't do them.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, the streams already cut away from them anyway. So
Yeah.
a lot of times they do. So it depends on what stream you
Demonetization is
got.
So fuck. But it's crazy though because that game had so much hype taken from it, and it's still super like.
Poor Ed
It's-
Boon and his millions of dollars.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely is the best balance because what they did was they gave the way they've balanced it. They gave you a reason to use X-rays again. They gave you a reason to do every move in your arsenal is useful, and then they even gave you strategically used moves that you can do like these like heavy blows where they do like a bunch of damage, but you can only do it once in a whole match, not like a round, like a match. So you've got to strategize when you want, and they only
really interesting.
and you can only do it in specific moves. Only done like sometimes there's a move that's like you've got to miss the first 2 hits of this combo, and the third hit will then do a final blow, like a heavy blow, which will do tons more damage. So then you've got to do it a certain way. Or there's another one where you've got to counter somebody when they attack you with this move, and it'll do a blow. And then you can hold the button to where even though if you meet the terms, it won't activate if you don't want it to. You only activate when you want it to. There's a strategy to it. Like, it may be, I think Mortal Kombat 11 is a 10 as far as like fighting games for Mortal Kombat.
Right.
It's the best one they've ever done. It is literally the best one, because where in 9 and 10 in the top tier and like when the professionals play, it was kind of bullshit to use an X-ray. You were wasting all your super combo meter. Now your X-ray is tied to low health. So whenever your health is low, you can do an X-ray to help get an extra footing.
That's kind of how the ultra
you can only do it once in a match. So you could do it between round 1 and round 2.
Oh,
you could do it.
Match.
You build a super bar and you can do an X-ray. But in this, you can only do it once in a match and only when your health is very low. So now there's a reason to use an X-ray because it doesn't take up any of your super combo meter. It doesn't use any of it. So they balanced it perfectly.
You could play it free this weekend.
That's right. There you go.
Including the Joker.
Son of a
That
bitch, y'all make me
Joker.
buy a goddamn game.
I need to get back. I want to get back into playing Mortal
My
Kombat
backlog's
again.
so
But
ridiculous
Mortal
right
Kombat
now.
11,
You know, all the stuff you explained about the strategy and holding the button and not activating is exactly why I am not good at these fighting games nowadays. And I will always pick Mortal Kombat 2.
So
that's true. I'll give you that. If that's your perfect 10, that's cool, man. Nobody's here to judge you and say you're wrong. That's just your opinion of what you say.
you know who Daigo is, right?
Daigo.
Daigo Umehara. He's like a legendary Street Fighter player.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
In Street Fighter 4, he did this, and he always plays with like Ryu.
Okay, yeah.
But he like there's this thing, Evo moment number 57 or some shit like that, or 37 something, where like in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, he just does this shit that's like, it seems impossible when you see it. But what he would do in Street Fighter 4, he would do, because there's this thing called focus canceling, where you can do a move and then cancel it. The way you have to do this on the controller is so difficult that it's hard to not just instantly commit mentally. Because you have to do a Shoryuken, then you have to hit both medium buttons to do a focus move, and you have to dash out of it, and then do your super move. So after the first hit, it knocks him up, and when you do the super move, he hits him with the Hadouken.
Right.
But it was so weird because he would never do it if he didn't connect properly. And it's such a small amount of reaction time, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, in order to cancel that move, it's so weird. And I was like, how the fuck can he tell if he misses?
I can't even think about somebody while I beat my meat.
Nah. There you go. You can't. Visual aids always required.
Just hot water on the back of the neck.
Yeah. That's right, man. I got a list of
It's
some of
always you, baby.
my perfect. Yep, that's right. Great save. My perfect 10s, I say Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I give that because you know what I liked about that I didn't like about the Breath of the Wild. Even though like I respect it for being that, and I can see where people come at it with a perfect 10. It's just the temples. They didn't have the classic temples, the levels, the bosses, and things like that. Like Ocarina of Time had the exploration factor to a degree. You had kind of an open world to explore to some degree, not like Breath of the Wild. Not as explorative as that, but you definitely had an open world, and you went to these different areas, and there was so many different little secret things you can do, and then there was like all these the 7 temples of different elements
and jumping between time for the world to be very different between the two is that's pretty impressive.
That's my perfect Zelda game.
I feel like there's so much trade off, and like I feel like that. Yes, they do take a couple of traditional Zelda things away, but you get so much in return.
I have a feeling like the next one is just going to be, they're going to be like, oh, you want dungeons?
I'll tell you this.
I feel like the perfect Zelda dungeon
Yeah.
is in Twilight Princess, and it's the ice one where there's like one enemy in the entire dungeon besides the boss, and it's just straight puzzles. And I remember playing that, eating fucking waffles.
That's it, man.
And it was fucking amazing.
That's awesome.
I was just like, this dungeon is so fucking cool. And there was nothing in it that could kill me.
Yeah.
I could say that That's the one thing that still to this day haunts me with Ocarina of Time is that fucking water temple.
That's right, man. Water temple.
I never had a problem with it because I think the only thing I did is I was missing a key, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm leaving." And I was swimming back, and it was like behind a block, and I missed going up by the block. It came down, I seen the key, got the key, went back, beat the dungeon. I was like, okay.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna make people mad with this one, but I'm cool with it. The best Devil May Cry, the perfect 10 I'd give for Devil May Cry.
Are you about to say 2? You're going to say 2, aren't you?
No. DMC.
You know, after we talked about it, and I went back and started playing it again, it's so crisp. Like it's so like control and combat is really, really fucking good in that game.
It's I think it's the perfect Devil May Cry because this is why I say it's even perfect beyond 5 and beyond 3. The gameplay of it is better than 3. As far as like 3 left you locked between, you couldn't really switch between styles and things like that. Which apparently now the Switch has the OP version of 3 because now you can switch between styles in 3. In Devil May Cry 3, they released it for Nintendo Switch, and it's the only version where you can freestyle.
And Switch is my favorite system right now.
Get Devil May Cry 3.
I can play in my bed.
I got a Switch too.
I just bought like 18 Mega Man games like an hour
Devil
ago.
May Cry 3. Devil May Cry 3 is the best version of it on Nintendo Switch right now. But originally in concept, that wasn't what it was.
Right.
And also the story is probably the better one out of most Devil May Cries. Not as good as DMC, though. DMC really had an interesting, focused story that I felt a lot of Devil May Cry games did not. The only take back to DMC I'll give you is I did not care for Dante's design. Still don't.
I think that's the biggest. That's the only thing everybody cares about, and it overwhelms so many of the good things about it. That people don't even...
And it's the stupid thing to overwhelm it because like he doesn't look that bad, especially when you playing it. You get used to it. Like he's not that bad looking. It's just...
For me, it's look at how cool I am. I'm so cool.
And actually, the fighting system
Like
in
those fucking
DMC
dinosaurs.
is still better.
So I can never play Cool Spot.
The fighting system in DMC is still better than like I think Devil May Cry 5. And the reason why I say that is because Devil May Cry 4 especially 5 has the issue of when you play as Dante, you can now I say it has the issue. You can literally just pick to have 2 weapons or 3 weapons or whatever, but like putting all of Dante's weapons and trying to use them together, you've got to click through them all. There's no like real good way to switch. The thing I really enjoyed how DMC did it is you had the hell weapons and the heaven weapons. And to access them, you just hold the button.
That, yeah.
You hold the button and you can pick if it's the axe or the thing. So you can actually flip between 5 weapon styles very seamlessly. A lot easier.
That's
and
true.
access all the weapons much better than you can in the new Devil May Cry games like 5 and even 4 allowed Dante to have like a bunch of weapons too. But it was still the click through it system.
And I would argue that I still like New Dante more than Nero.
Yeah. I give it.
I don't like Nero.
I'm okay with Nero. He's a little douchey, but like
Kind of a bitch.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Now, did you ever play? Do you know this? Would I spoil 5 for you if I told you things?
yes.
Okay, I'm not gonna say nothing. You need to play it.
I'm gonna
though.
finish it eventually.
Play it. 5 is good. Look, 5 is great.
And I think it may be on sale
like that
right
game.
now because my brother had it and I borrowed it, and that's how I played the first time.
But DMC, that remake was just really fucking good. And like it's sad that people really shit on it all the time. I hear people shit on it. And
Not
it's
my
like
Dante.
yeah, but it's like it's so stupid because the game is legit the best
If
Devil
it
May
was
Cry.
named something else,
No,
people
it
would be
didn't have
fine.
to be named something else.
like I feel like if it was just a different game that came out, people.
I think
would
if they
would
would have just put old Dante, if they just had original Dante and remade it, it would have been the best Devil May Cry ever made. Like I think that.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
I think that.
And the
would
Sexes
be it.
will never get a sequel.
Nope. And I thought it was very interesting. You had Mundus. It was a re-envision where Mundus was like he was in the world. We
Right.
got to see his effects in Earth. Like it wasn't just this weird isolated space that they all existed in. No, he was like the head of a huge bank. All these companies were in debt to him. He ran the world.
Right.
And then he had a news station that was run by demons who
I remember-
dispelled out
yeah.
news and stuff like that. He had a drink company that that pushed out like energy soda that had dumbed down people. So they drank the sodas to dumb down, and then they watched the news he fed them to believe what he wanted them to believe, and they were all in debt to him. It is a very interesting story, but everybody shits on this game. It's the best fucking Devil May Cry story ever done.
It's a it's. I would say that every Devil May Cry game, because I haven't played. I don't think I ever finished 4. But I would say it's the one I binged it much harder than any other one. 2 took me a long time to beat.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough go. But you know what? 2 was very good to me. 2 always holds a special spot for me because it's how I got introduced to the series.
Right.
And if you play 2 as your first Devil May Cry back in like the early 2000s when that shit was like a hack and slash, gun slinging, sword fighting dude, that was new to me. So like I was like, holy shit. And I played the shit out of 2. I liked 2 for what it was at that time. Once I got to play 1, 3, and all that shit, it's like, yeah, this is a terrible game. 2 will never be a perfect 10. I cannot make that claim with any justice. But I can say DMC is a perfect 10.
You know what? I would put Arkham City.
Arkham City is my next one on the list, too.
Yeah.
That's the perfect Batman game for sure. That's a perfect 10 that has everything.
So fucking good.
It answered my problem with the boss battles. I still say the boss battles are better in Origins. The boss battles are better.
They're way
in
more
Origins.
unique.
Yes,
but Mr. Freeze's boss battle is so fucking good.
Well, even Ra's al Ghul's was pretty good in Arkham City. Like there's a couple of them that were pretty good in Arkham City. That like it's not the worst. Like it and it's the perfect Batman game because it really. When that hit and everything, and the concept of part of Gotham is just a prison and everybody's let loose, and you got this open world, but not too open world.
You find out Hugo Strange trying to kill everybody.
Yeah, but then he's actually working for Ra's al Ghul, and then you get Joker's death, and they actually stuck to it.
Right, they did not bring him back.
And in the night, he comes back, but as like a haunting vision.
Right.
You know, so
what's the singer guy's name in Arkham Knight? Because I really enjoy that set piece.
I don't know.
The guy that's singing in the Joker's, like, you see the Joker singing and you have to sneak past with Nightwing and stuff.
I don't remember, but I don't remember that. But that's good. And then my perfect I have here, Resident Evil. I say Resident Evil 4. I definitely say that's probably the perfect
I never
for
played
Resident
4,
Evil.
And I want to play a remake of it.
Yeah, I don't know if they will though, because I've heard a lot of. I haven't gone back to 4 in a while. I hear a lot of people saying they've been going back to 4, and they're like, it doesn't need to be remade. It's still fucking great, and the graphics aren't that bad. They've kind of redone it and upped the graphics a bit. So I don't know if it needs to be remade.
I remember playing 5. 5 is the one with what's the name? Shiva.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one.
Yeah. 5, well, yeah. That's,
her AI was horrible.
Yeah, like 5 was more of an action game than a horror.
Yeah.
So
6 for sure was an action game.
I'd almost say 2 Remake is the perfect game, but there's still a few things I feel hinder that. It's my favorite. 2 Remake is my favorite Resident Evil. But I think 4 was legit, like, it was the first time we got the over-the-shoulder stuff, and they really did it good there. And it wasn't demons. It was like, demons. It wasn't zombies. It was like a different type of like monster creature. Right. So I would say 4.
I'm excited about 3 Remake because 3 was my first Resident Evil game.
I just got done playing the old classic 3. And it's good.
Going to see the movie, went to a special showing like a few days before it actually came out, and they did a raffle, and I won 3.
Oh, yeah?
And that was my first time ever playing a Resident Evil.
No shit. Okay. Well, at least the movie did something good.
Right. Those fucking movies.
Yeah.
Speaking of, have you seen the Doom movie on the Netflix one?
We covered it. We did it losing lives.
It's way better than the big one.
It is. Because it's more faithful to the. It's not a great movie.
No. But it's definitely better than the one with The Rock.
It's more faithful to the origin. And yeah, it is better than the Rock one. The Rock just did whatever the fuck they did. I don't know what they did. But the new one, I didn't hate it. It was pretty good. Metal Gear Solid 3, I think, is the perfect one. My favorite's 4. But I can see where 4... too many cutscenes, and then also you didn't have
a lot of fucking cutscenes.
A lot of cutscenes, and also you didn't have the open world nature that you typically get with Metal Gear, where it's not complete open world, but you have the kind of more condensed. You can go to and from the levels. You kept jumping places.
Getting rid of the
in 4.
radar was a big deal for me in 3.
Yeah.
But I really fucking love the characters in 1.
3. The reason why I give it to 3 is because they really perfected a lot of things. The biggest drawback I can see is that they tried to do this like camo thing and like eat food and survive out in the woods thing that felt
What about Revengeance? No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. It's better than Survive for sure.
yeah, no, it is.
It just doesn't feel like a Metal Gear game. It's good.
It's not a Metal Gear game.
It's fun.
And it's not a perfect game, but it's good and it's fun.
But
I like that game.
one like
I am the fucking senator. Last boss fight, you fight the senator.
I remember like and out of all Metal Gear games, I just remember the characters in 1 so much. And I haven't been back to play it in 15
I
years
wanted to
at
give
least.
1 the perfect 10. I felt like it was 3 because I felt like some of the boss battles and everything were much more interesting. Like
In 3?
yeah, like
What
think
about
of
Psycho Mantis
Psycho Mantis is a pretty good one.
and Sniper Wolf? Grey Wolf?
But see, like fighting the end is like a more interesting version of the Sniper Wolf battle. It's a little better.
And then the
where you're in the jungle and you're in this like stalemate game of you got to find them
and
in the woods.
The hack where you can turn your game clock forward a week and he dies of old age. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. That's. I would give it to 3. I do have stronger memories, and like I think I would go back to 1 before I went back to 3. But I do feel like objectively, I think 3 really perfected
3 was
a lot of
definitely more
things.
challenging.
And yeah, and so I give 3 the perfect 10, but because like 1,
I want a remake of 1 so bad.
yeah, they kind of gave you that already on the GameCube,
With the Twin Snakes?
kind of.
We just need to put it out on the Switch now.
Please?
Yeah, I would get Twin Snakes for the Switch.
Dude, there's so many
would
games
get
that I
it.
wouldn't touch again unless they came out on
It's
Switch.
true. It's a weird thing, but it's very true. It's true. Anybody else got any perfect games you want to give?
What did I name?
You named like Tetris. You named Super Mario World. You named Breath of the Wild.
World of Warcraft.
There you go. That's an interesting discussion though, because like that game's always evolving. So
You-
can it
you gotta
make
see-
itself worse?
It's had some low points in its life cycle.
In its heyday.
In its fucking, 17-year life cycle?
Yeah.
It's been out since 2000. Yeah, it's like 16 years, 17 years.
Yeah.
But no, and it's the reason I like Breath of the Wild better than any other Zelda is because I like to explore. I just like my son watches
I
me
can
play
see
video
that.
games, and he's like, "Quit looking for secrets. There are none."
It's one of those games where it's just like, it's so lived in. Like, it's not like, what is it, Xenoblade Chronicles, which has a huge map, but nothing's in it. Even like GTA 5, I just felt like there just wasn't enough in the world. But like I said, like Breath of the Wild, I literally found out that you can do the boomerang thing like yesterday. If you use magnesis on a boomerang, it turns into like a blade, like a buzzsaw.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Like the game's so Breath of the Wild's so good, man.
And it just made you
You can
want to
catch fish by whistling. Did you know that?
No,
If you whistle, they'll go beach themselves. They'll run from you and go beach themselves.
hilarious.
Because they didn't adjust the audio in the system. So the way they react to like bombs and shit, they react more to it from you whistling.
Hilarious. The game's just so genius, and then the way it is it makes you want to explore. Like if you watch my map, it's like you'd be like, this dude cannot go a straight line to save his fucking life. Like you'll see me go this way, and it's like, and I go back
love that.
this way, and it's like
The path of the the path of the warrior?
I
or
try
what
to
they
go
call
back
it?
this way, and then I'm going back down this way because just when you're going, something catches you. I remember one time I seen the big flying dragon thing,
Yeah,
and I was just going, and I seen out the corner. I'm like,
it's fucking
fuck
Shenron
is-
from Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is that? So then I had to go over there and see it, and then next thing you know, I'm like, I got to be able to do something with it. It's trying to shoot shit at. They have a mountain where at certain times of the game it like glows.
Oh,
apparently,
the Lord of the Mountain.
yeah, they got like a special horse or something you can only get at certain times. And like I've only seen it, like I've been there to actually see it like once, and I couldn't catch it. But it's like
Have y'all
fucking
ever
genius
done
is that?
anything with those flying dragon things that you catch periodically through the game? Like, you don't catch them, but like you can find them. And
You get
have
their scales?
Yeah,
can
you get their
their
scales or
and
something.
claws and horns and stuff for different armor upgrades and stuff like that.
Mm.
You actually have to get their scales for some of the shrines.
Yeah, look, I respect like Breath of the Wild being perfect 10. Like, I mean, there could be 2 perfect 10s in a series,
Right.
and if Breath of the Wild and Ocarina of Time.
I mean, if you want to go
hold those
Mario,
spots.
Mario 64, Mario Galaxies 2, Super Mario World,
Just every Mario?
Bros. 3.
Honestly,
You
a
can
lot
go
of them.
The original Mario Brothers.
Mario Odyssey's fucking great.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's how I know the Switch was going to be a great system. when
Mario
they had 2
Odyssey.
Game of the Year contenders in the first year.
Mario Odyssey is worth way more than fucking $60. Like, that game has so much shit in it, it's ridiculous. Like, it's worth way more than $60. So is Breath of the Wild. You can get so much.
I talked about
Time out of
the DLC with another friend before with like Destiny. It was like every DLC was like $20 and it was like an hour worth of fucking content. They had the big ones are like $40 and they're like an hour and a half worth of content. Breath of the Wild, you spent $20 and you got 2 huge DLC packs.
Well, I think we're gonna have to cut it short here because I did want to cover the movie, but it's like already 9:20. Thanks for joining me, Jonathan.
Always.
Patrick, thanks for being here. We out of here. Thanks.